Today's class is on optical isomers, which contains conditions of optical activity, enantiomers, diastereomers, Racine mixture, mesocompounds, and RNase nomenclature.
Now we are discussing about the basic concepts of organic chemistry. This is the part 2. In our previous class already we have discussed the geometrical isomerism, that means configurational as well as conformational isomers. But now today I am discussing why. Already you have seen that such type of structure, that means C double bond C, that means with respect to a rigid system means C double bond C, if the two different groups are attached to each carbon atom, that means AB, where these two conditions are fulfilled, that means A not equal to B, and number 2, mass number of A is greater than B. If these two conditions are fulfilled, then we can see that this structure resembles with geometrical isomerism, that means configurational isomers. So these structures may have C strands and or actually Z and E isomers. But now at first we shall discuss about this C triple bond C. This is also a rigid system. Why this system doesn't show geometrical isomerism? See that in case of C triple bond C, there is only one group. Suppose R1 and suppose this is R2. So if there is only one group, here see this sp2 hybridized carbon atom, and that's why it is attached with two different groups A and B, but there is only one group. And if we draw according to the condition of geometrical isomerism, see this, if we draw an imaginary plane with respect to this rigid system, then if A and A are the same side, then this is called Cs or Z. If A and A are in opposite side, then it is called trans or E isomers. But here if we draw the imaginary plane, then the plane goes through these R1 and R2, and that's why we can't say which one is the same side and which one is the opposite side with respect to this plane, and that's why C triple bond C system doesn't show geometrical isomerism. Next part, ring structures show geometrical isomerism. So ring structure, what is called the ring structure? Because we know that, see this is propene, cyclopropene actually, and the formula is C3H6. And also propene has same molecular formula C3H6. So we can say that a cyclic system resembles with an alkene. So a cyclic system resembles with an alkene if or whenever two different groups are attached with these two carbon atoms. Suppose this is the single bonded part, this is the single bonded part, and this carbon is attached to it, suppose COOH, here is H. This carbon is also attached to it, COOH, here is H. Then these two groups are the same side, as this resembles with an alkene, so it forms a double bond type system. It is also a rigid system. Then with respect to a double bond, that means rigid part, if C double bond OH, COOH groups are on the same side, then we can say that this is a Cs isomer. And if they are in the opposite side, like this structure, suppose this is the structure in which these two are in the opposite side with respect to the cyclopropene ring, here hydrogen, here COOH, then we can say that this is the trans isomer. So rings or structures also show geometrical isomerism. Like these ring structures also show the geometrical isomerism. By using these two examples, we can explain this, that ring structures also show the geometrical isomerism. Now we are discussing about the different forms of structural isomers. Already you have seen that CnH2n is the general molecular formula of an alkene and a cycloalkane. So cycloalkane. So if we draw the structure of C4H8, then first we have to draw the chain isomers. See that chain isomers C. These are the 4 carbon chain. And for the cyclic system, we can see that we can draw the 4 carbon like cyclobutane. Now for a double bond system, because it is an alkene, so the double bond is here. This is the positional isomer. So if we shift this double bond towards these positions, that means but1 in, and it converts to now but2 in. These two are the positional isomers. So if first we have to draw the structural isomer, chain isomer first, a long chain. Then with respect to this chain, with respect to this, the position will be different. Double bond C, and then we can draw the chain isomer of these two compounds. First compound, this is second compound. Then chain isomer of first compound will be third. Chain isomer of first compound will be third. This is the third compound. This is the chain isomer of 1. So these two are related with the positional isomer, positional, and these two are related with the chain. Now this is also the different form of cycloalkane actually. So we can draw this structure, this, and a different form of cycloalkane is like this, CH3, methyl cyclopropane. This is cyclobutane and this is methyl cyclopropane. So with respect to a particular form, CnH2n, sorry, this will be CnH2n, cycloalkane and alkene. These two structures are obtained. This is the structure of alkene. We can draw these two structures. And second form, this is A. Second form is B, like this, B. With respect to the formula B, CnH2n minus 2. One is alkene, alkyne, and the other is cycloalkene, Suppose we have to draw the structure of C4H6. Then cycloalkene, see this 4 carbon system and it contains a double bond here. This is the cycloalkene. So different form of cycloisomers like this, cyclopropene containing double bond here and one methyl group attached with this. And with respect to this, the different isomers will be obtained like this. This is the first carbon atom, this is the first carbon atom, this is second, this is third. So double bond is here, methyl group is here. So these two are the positional isomers of the with respect to the methyl group. Now in case of alkyne, we can draw this structure. First we draw the chain, plain straight chain structure, C, 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 C. This is the triple bond system. And if we change the position with respect to this triple bond, suppose this is the first structure. So if we change the position of the triple bond, C, C, triple bond, C, C. First one is but1 second one is but2 These two are the positional isomer with respect to triple bond. And third is the different form, because we can't define this structure with different form. So third structure cannot be obtained. If we draw this structure with respect to this, 3 and 1 are identical. 3 and 1 are identical. So we can't draw the different structures, different chain isomers with respect to 1. So alkyne have these these 3 structures, 1, 2, and here 3, and 3 has 4 different chain isomers, 4 has also 5 the positional isomers. So these two are the different forms. Next part is CnH2n plus 2O. These has also 2 different functional groups. Number 1 is alcohol and number 2 is ether. See this, with respect to C4H10O, we can draw the different alcohols like COH. This is butane-1-ol. If we change the position of the alcoholic group, then it will be butane-2-ol. If we change the chain of this compound, then 3 carbon chain, 1 carbon will be in the branch chain, 2-methyl propane-1-ol, and the positional isomer with respect to this is 2-methyl propane-2-ol. These are sum total 4 structures with respect to the alcoholic group. And if we draw with respect to the ether group, see this ethoxyethane and methoxypropane. These two are generally called metamers of each other with respect to oxygen. That means a divalent atom, 2 different alkyl groups are attached, and hence these two are metamers with respect to each other. Then number 4 is CnH2nO2. See this, with respect to these two functional group isomers are obtained. Number one is acid, that means carboxylic acids, and number two is ester. See that if we draw the structure of C5H10O, then with respect to the acid, the structures obtained are C5H10O with respect to the acid group CCCCCOOH, pentanoic acid. So if we change the structure of the chain COOH and one methyl group is substituted, then 2-methyl propanoic acid, these two are the butanoic acid, then these two are the structures, 3-methyl actually, 1, 2, 3-methyl butanoic acid, and methyl group may be shifted towards the 2 position. So this will be 2-methyl butanoic acid. So these two are the positional isomer with respect to the methyl group. These two are the chain isomers. So these two are the chain isomers, chain isomers, and these two are the positional isomers. Sorry, these two are the positional isomers with respect to these groups, positional isomers. Now with respect to ester, we can draw different structures C double bond OC. This is the form of ester, that is methyl butanoate, 5 carbon system. Then it will be like this, C double bond OCC, ethyl propanoate, and the carbon structure may be changed its position, and that will be an metameric form of these two, like this. So isopropyl ethanoate. So these three are the different forms of esters. C2H4O. This is the form of two different functional group isomers. Number one aldehydes and number two ketones. Suppose we have to draw the different structures with respect to CnH2n. So C4H8O. Now draw these structures with respect to aldehyde group. We have to draw the structures with respect to the aldehyde group, 4 carbon system. This is butanal. See this C4H8O, 3 2 5 2 7 plus 1 8, C4H8O, butanal. And the second part is the methyl group by changing the position of the methyl group here. So but the carbon atom will remain different in the main chain, but total carbon atoms remain same. This is the 2-methyl propanal. So these two are the positional isomers with each other. Now if we draw the different structures of ketone, like this, C double bond CC, that is methyl ethyl ketone or butane-2-one. Only one structure is obtained with respect to this ketone. Now there are only 3 structures with respect to this molecular formula, CnH2nO. Now we are discussing about the optical isomers. The isomer, that means the compound which can rotate the plane of polarized light either with respect to the towards left, right, or with towards left with respect to the plane. That is called the optical isomers or optically active compound. Now what is plane polarized light? That light, that particular light in which the photons vibrate in a particular plane, not in all planes. So that light is called the plane polarized light, and if it rotates with respect to the pathway towards the left, with respect to its pathway towards the left, that is called the LIVO compound, LIVO isomer denoted by the L. And if it rotates the plane polarized light towards the right with respect to its pathway, then it is called the dextro compound, that means denoted by the D. Whatever may be the angle of rotation, that is the theta, by which it rotates the plane polarized light with respect to its pathway, this is directly proportional to the length of the solution. This container contains that solution which is that solution of the substance which is the optically active compound, and L is denoted by the decimeter, unit decimeter, into C, that is the concentration, that means gram per cc is denoted in gram per cc unit. So theta is proportional to this, therefore theta equal to some constant which is known as the specific rotation. This constant is called the specific rotation, specific rotation into L into C. So this is the expression of the optically active system angle of rotation. Now we know that optical isomers are those compound optically active compounds. Optically active compounds are those which satisfies these three conditions. Number one, these three conditions. Number one, first is it must contain a chiral center. Now what is chiral center? It must contains a chiral center. What is chiral center? A carbon atom which is attached with four different groups or atoms like A, B, X, Y, which is attached with four different groups or atoms. It must contain at least one chiral center. So such type of carbon atom is called the chiral center. Number two, actually it has no symmetry element. Now what is called the symmetry element? Either plane of symmetry. It has no symmetry elements. Symmetry element. What is called the symmetry element? There are generally two types of symmetry element. One is the plane of symmetry and the other is the center of symmetry. Now we are discussing about the plane of symmetry. Suppose a compound like this CH3 CHOH, this carbon is this center, this crossing is called the carbon atom. Here is carbon atom, also here is carbon atom, HOH, and here is CH3. If we draw an imaginary line through the midpoint of this compound, then we see that upper part is the mirror image of the lower part. That's why we can say that this is a symmetric part, and this is called the axis of symmetry or plane of symmetry. So no symmetry element. Number three, this must form a non-superimposable mirror image. This must form a non-superimposable mirror image. Non-superimposable mirror image, like this mirror image, like this. If we draw the mirror image with respect to this, then the initial compound will be like this. Here carbon, here A, here X, but here this will be Y and this is B, and this is called the non-superimposable mirror image, like this. So if or whenever all these three conditions are fulfilled, then we can say that compound is optically active. Now first term is enantiomer. I am discussing about the enantiomer. We have to clear the concept about enantiomer, diastereomer, acidic mixture and mesocompound. First term is enantiomer. What is enantiomer? Enantiomer are the non-superimposable mirror image relationship between these two, between the given two optical active isomers. So first we have to draw the structure of lactic acid. See this, the structure, the formula of the lactic acid is CH3 CHOH COOH. That means 2-hydroxypropanoic acid. If we draw the Fischer projection form of these this compound, like COOH is here, CH3 is here, H is here, and OH is here. Suppose if we draw, then you can see this from this structure. This is the lactic acid structure. See this structure here. This carbon attached with four different groups or atoms. That's why this is a chiral center. This contains a chiral center. This carbon is chiral. Chiral, that means optically active compound. Maybe. Now we have to see the other two factors, other two conditions. One is the chiral center. Number two, non-superimposable mirror image. See this non-superimposable mirror image. See this structure. If we draw this, then COH is here, but H goes to this. CH3 will be inverted. OH remains here, but also will be inverted with respect to, because these are sp3 hybridized carbon atom and oxygen atom. Here this is sp3 hybridized carbon. This is sp3 hybridized oxygen. So the direction will be changed. So that's why these two are called the non-superimposable mirror image. If we draw an imaginary plane with respect to this chiral center, we can't see any symmetry element like plane of symmetry or axis of symmetry in this compound. That's why we can say that these two isomers are optically active. And now see the relation between these two, number one and number two. These two are non-superimposable mirror image relationship. These two have non-superimposable mirror image relationship, and that's why 1 and 2 are called the enantiomers of each other. Now, if more than one chiral centers are obtained in a compound, like in case of tartaric acid, more than one chiral center containing compound, more than one chiral center containing compound, HOH, and here COOH. This compound is called lactic acid, and this compound is called the tartaric acid. And if we see this here, the two chiral centers are obtained in this compound. This carbon is chirally, that means optically active. This carbon is also chiral center, that means maybe optically active. But if we see that the four different groups are attached with respect to each carbon atom, but if we draw the imaginary plane with respect to through the midpoint of these two carbon atoms, chiral carbon atoms, then see that upper part is the mirror image of the lower part. Then we can say that though it contains two different chiral centers, but this compound is optically inactive. Why this compound is optically inactive? Due to the internal compensation. Suppose the upper part rotates the plane polarized light towards the right with respect to the direction of the pathway. Suppose x degree. This is minus because clockwise. But the lower part, that means this chiral with respect to this carbon, the plane polarized light will be rotated towards the left and equal, that means plus x degree, and that's why these two cancel each other, so it becomes optically inactive, and hence we can say that optical inactivity is due to the internal compensation. Both the carbon atom rotate the plane polarized light, but internally they compensate each other. Such compounds are called meso compounds. So this is mesotartaric acid. But if any one configuration of the carbon atom is changed, suppose COOH is here, HOH remains same, but here the OH is here and hydrogen changes its position, but COOH also remains same, then see that no such type of axis of symmetry is obtained or plane of symmetry is obtained. Then we can say that it is optically active compound. This is suppose 3, this is suppose 5, number 5, mesotartaric acid, this is 3, and the mirror image of this is optically active. The mirror image of this compound can be drawn like this. OH is here, H is here, here also H, here OH, and the bottom part containing COHOE. And this compound is denoted by 4. Both these 3 and 4 are optically active compound, but they have they have no chiral center, two chiral centers, but optically active. They have no symmetry with respect to this mesotartaric acid. Then 3 and 4 are called enantiomers of each other according to the above definition of the enantiomer. So these two have non-superimposable mirror image relationships, and that's why these two are, as they are optically active, known as the enantiomers of each other. Now, what is the relation between 3 and 5 and 4 and 5? One is meso, other is suppose dextro. One is meso, other is suppose levo. Then these two are called the diastereomers of each other. That means 3 and 4 are diastereomers of each other. 4 and 5 are also, 3 and 5 diastereomers of each other. 4 and 5 also are diastereomer of each other. So one is enantiomer, other is diastereomer. Third is meso compound. Now, if or whenever equimolar mixture of dextro and levo are mixed, then the solution shows optical inactivity. Then the solution becomes optically inactive. Equimolar mixture, 50% rotates the plane polarized light towards the clockwise, suppose 60 degree, and 50% rotate the plane polarized light towards the left, minus 50 degree. and that's why they cancel each other, and hence it becomes optically inactive. And this optical inactivity is due to external compensation. The optically inactive compounds are totally different with respect to each other. See this, here the optical inactivity in presence of two different chiral carbon atoms in a particular compound, but here two different compounds, equimolar mixture of two different compounds are obtained, hence due to external compensation, and such mixture is called the racemic mixture. Such a mixture is called the racemic mixture, where the equimolar mixture of dextro and levo is obtained and becomes the optically inactive solution, and such mixture is called the racemic mixture. Number 1, characteristics of enantiomers. What are the characteristics of enantiomer? Number 1, they have identical physical and chemical properties, because their molecular weight are same, their functional groups are also remain same, they have identical physical chemical properties. They behave differently towards an optically active reagents. So these two are the main characteristics of the enantiomers. Now next point is number of optical isomers. How many isomers can be obtained with respect to, suppose a compound contains n number of chiral centers, then total number of optically active isomers, n number of chiral centers, and they are completely different. They are completely different with respect to each other. So completely different in number of chiral centers. So total number of optical isomers obtained equal to 2 to the power n. Since lactic acid contains only one chiral center, and that's why total number of isomers will be 2 to the power 1. That means 2. One is dextro and other is levo. So these are the total number of optical isomers obtained. See this, the structure of glucose. Naturally obtained glucose is dextrorotatory. That's why this is called the dextrose. So the OH groups are like this: OH. Here also CH2OH, and all these are hydrogen atoms. So here 4 different chiral centers are obtained. So total number of isomers will be obtained 2 to the power 4. That means 16. Now these two are the different structures with respect to which we can assume that these two structures, if any compound containing these two structures, either of these two structures, then that will be an optically active isomer, though it has no chiral center. Suppose this C double bond C. If any compound containing n equal to even number of C double bond C cumulated system. This is called cumulated system. That means continuous double bond. If even number of double bond is continuing, then such type of planes are obtained. But the horizontal part is drawn by the blue color part. Horizontal plane is drawn by the blue color dotted line, and the vertical plane is drawn by the red color dotted line. This is vertical plane. See that this carbon atom is sp2 hybridized, this carbon atom is also sp2 hybridized. So these two are in the same plane, but these two are in the different plane, but both of them are in same plane. C and double bond C. See these two pi bonds with respect to this. Suppose this is x axis, this will be y axis, and these two pi bonds are in the z axis. So y and z are in different plane, perpendicular with respect to each other, and that's why one is horizontal and another is vertical plane. If this structure is satisfied in a compound, then this structure is called the alene, and containing even number of cumulated double bond system must be an optically active compound. And again, substituted biphenyl. See this substituted biphenyl, due to the presence of two bulky groups in the ortho position, sterically hindered, and hence no free rotation with respect to this single bond is occurred. So actually conformational isomers are obtained through rotation of the sigma bond, but here no such type of conformational isomers are obtained because these two groups are very large in size, bulky groups, sterically hindered, so they restrict the rotation with respect to this sigma bond, and hence due to the presence of this is the horizontal, this is the vertical plane, these two are in different plane because they do not collide with each other. This is the horizontal plane. If any compound containing such type of structure, then that structure resembles the optically active compound. So these two structures actually optically active compounds. Now I am discussing the last point. Today's last point is the R and S nomenclature. What is R and S nomenclature? Because optical activity, one rotates the plane towards right, known as the dextro, other towards left, known as the levo. But by seeing a compound, we can't separate which one is dextro and which one is levo. So there is another nomenclature which is known as the R and S nomenclature, through which you can identify which one is actually clockwise rotated, which one is anti-clockwise rotated, by giving the name R and S. R is the rectus clockwise and S is the sinister anti-clockwise. Now by seeing this compound, this is the tetrahedral compound where this carbon is chiral center. These two bonds represent the bond on the same plane, OH and CH3. The straight line shows the bond on the same plane, but this is the wedge structure. This wedge actually shows the above the plane, group above the plane, and this bond, by showing this wedge structure, shows that the group below the plane. Now this is the tetrahedral part. If we represent this part in a Fisher projection formula by drawing this is a Fisher projection formula. Fisher projection formula, where the carbon atom is represented here, projection formula. Now if we draw this structure, first we have to see these two. First see this, these two actually the bond on the plane. These two shows that my thumb, right hand thumb, shows that bond above the plane, and these two, right finger, actually directing finger, towards the back side of the plane, below the plane. So this is above the plane, this is below the plane. Now this is the structure, here the chiral center. If I rotate my left hand 90 degree towards me, rotate my left hand 90 degree towards me, then only the carbon atom is at the plane, but these two groups, one is below the plane initially and other one is above the plane initially, goes back towards with respect to this carbon atom, chiral center, and these two which were on the plane initially now come above the plane. So on the plane goes above the plane, and these two, one is the back side already below the plane, one is the above the plane, goes both the back of the plane. Now if we draw this structure, actually our left hand, left thumb and left finger, actually directive finger, toward the vertical line. See this here, OH and CH3 of our my thumb and the directive fingers of the left hand shows the vertical plane. So this is the vertical plane. See this vertical plane. So here OH is here and CH3 is here. See this, OH is here, CH3 is here. Now these two actually, my right thumb shows the COH group and H below the plane. Actually if we tilt this 90 degree towards me, then H and COH, OH and CH3 on the plane is shown by the horizontal line in the Fisher projection formula. So OH is on the left hand side, this is represent the thumb, and CH3 on the right hand side of this projection formula on the horizontal line shows the directive finger. Now see this, H and COH, H and COH, H is below the plane and COH is above the plane. So if we tilt this hand on 90 degree towards me, then H and COH both go below the plane. H at the top, COH at the bottom. So here we can write H at the top and COH at the bottom. H at the top and COOH at the bottom. Now numbering them with respect to their atomic number. See this, carbon has 12, this carbon has also 12, hydrogen has 1, oxygen has 16. Highest towards the oxygen, so this will be A group. These two have same atomic number, so we have to see just next with respect to carbon. Here oxygen is 16 but hydrogen is 1, so this will be B, this will be C, this will be D. That means with respect to their atomic mass, we have arranged that A greater than B greater than C greater than D. Now irrespective of the position of D, A to B and B to C, if we rotate this A to B and B to C, then see this, it is anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. So if it is anti-clockwise, then it is called S, that means sinister, sinister. If it is anti-clockwise, then it is denoted by S, sinister. But we have to remember that H, that means D group provided, that means if it is anti-clockwise, S, if it is clockwise, then it becomes R, that means rectus. But provided that D group must be at the below the plane, that means must be at the vertical line. If D is at the horizontal line, then if it comes S, it becomes R. If it comes R, then it becomes S. So as it is S and hydrogen is at the vertical line, so its nomenclature will be S lactic acid.